Mayor of New York. Gentleman from New York is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Of the 8 hearings on this topic, I do give you credit. This is only the 3rd one with these same witnesses. This one, though, introduces a new wrinkle: censorship by foreign countries, of course, which Congress has no jurisdiction over. So I do give you some credit, because at least the first 2 with them had something to do with our jurisdiction.
Gentlemen yield.
What you are about to see is a sitting member of Congress, Dan Goldman, calling out the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, Jim Jordan, for something almost unheard of in modern American politics: voluntarily surrendering Congress's own constitutional power.
Not yet.
Okay.
Now, let's look at what has happened over the past 3 weeks. Donald Trump pardoned more than 1,500 criminals from January 6th, including hundreds who were convicted of assaulting police officers. So much for backing the blue. He tried to freeze all federal funding: SNAP benefits, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, tax refund checks, you name it. He illegally fired senior officials and inspectors general, and even the director of the Office of Government Ethics, because they might, God forbid, provide accountability to the convicted felon in the White House. And the president has given an unelected billionaire total access to the inner workings of every executive branch agency, and he is freely terminating government contracts and government officials. Now, whether you agree or not with whatever Donald Trump and Elon Musk are doing, it is a breathtaking and unprecedented usurpation of government power. And instead of Congress actually using its oversight authority to provide a check and balance on this government takeover, the Republican majority is once again here talking about Hunter Biden's laptop, the Twitter files from many years ago, and now a new one: censorship in Europe. Now, when asked about what guardrails there may be on Elon Musk's infiltration of our federal government this past weekend, the chairman said, and I quote, "The guardrails are all you all in the press who are talking about it every day," end quote. The press? The press? What about Congress, Mr. Chairman? Our Constitution places responsibility for oversight and accountability on Congress, not the press. It is almost as if my colleagues on the other side of the aisle wake up in the morning and think, how can I undermine my own power? Let's be very clear. Nobody has any idea what Elon Musk is doing, including the president, including my friend from Texas, who has no idea whether Elon Musk has found fraud or not. And I find it shocking that my Republican colleagues are willing to simply take Elon's word for it. Just yesterday, Mr. Musk admitted that at least some of what he says is incorrect. So even Elon Musk does not take his own word for it. Now, how about this committee investigate Elon Musk's rampant conflict of interest, Mr. Chairman? He has 6 companies that have at least $13 billion of government contracts. And here he is making decisions about what government contracts should be canceled. And I want to introduce, by unanimous consent, an article in the New York Times from yesterday that talks about the 32 ongoing investigations into Elon Musk and his companies. This article outlines how Trump and Musk have fired officials in 11 federal agencies that are leading investigations or enforcement matters or lawsuits pending against Elon Musk. Now, all the investigations have stalled. Lucky Mr. Musk. Can't be the conflict of interest.
Without objection. So enter.
The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has received hundreds of complaints against Tesla. Last week, after Elon Musk gutted that agency that protects everyday Americans against corporate greed, Mr. Musk tweeted, "CFPB, RIP." Now, these are clear conflicts of interest, and it is clearly within the jurisdiction of this committee to investigate, with our oversight power, the conflicts of interest. And you know what the White House's response is? Let the guy with the conflicts decide if he has conflicts. Just yesterday, Mr. Musk announced that he canceled 89 government contracts worth $881 million in the Department of Education. That's money Congress appropriated. We have the power of the purse. Maybe it's wasteful, maybe it's not. I have no idea, you have no idea, but it's a blatant violation of the law and the Constitution. And apparently my Republican colleagues are so weak and afraid of Donald Trump and Elon Musk that they're willing to undermine their own constitutional authority just to please them. You're giving away your own power in fealty to Donald Trump. So, Mr. Chairman, I ask that for our next hearing, we actually do some oversight and accountability of what this administration is doing right now, not what the Biden administration did years ago. And I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. I would just ask Mr. Schellenberger, if European law results in the censorship of Americans, is that something that the Judiciary Committee should be concerned about?
Yeah, absolutely. And you shared that information this morning on X, the post about the judicial ruling in Europe, which says that they do think they have the right to do that. And we keep seeing this similarly in Australia, where you see these authorities who think that they should be able to censor the entire global internet of disfavored information. So it's very disturbing, and like I said, it really makes you question our alliance with Europe.
Mr. Chairman, I have a unanimous consent motion.
Gentleman's recognized.
I ask to introduce by unanimous consent a letter from 7 members of Congress, including myself, to Inspector General Michael Horowitz of the DOJ, asking him to investigate egregious conflicts of interest of Acting Deputy Attorney General Emile Beauvais and Acting United States Attorney for the District of Columbia, Ed Martin.
You're asking to enter into a record a letter you sent to who?
To the Department of Justice Inspector General Michael Horowitz, one of the very few who was not fired.
Without objection. All right, that's fine.
What happened in this Judiciary Committee hearing between Dan Goldman and Jim Jordan was not just another routine congressional squabble. It was a moment that exposed how warped congressional priorities have become, and Goldman absolutely ripped the mask off it. What makes this exchange linger isn't just Dan Goldman's words, it's the silence on the other side. Because after laying out pardon after pardon, power grab after power grab, conflict after conflict, the response from the Republican majority was not outrage, not curiosity, not even denial. It was deflection. A quick pivot back to Europe, back to Twitter files, back to anything that doesn't require them to look directly at what's happening right now inside their own government. And that tells you everything. This isn't about censorship in Europe. It's not about Hunter Biden's laptop. It's not even about free speech on social media. Those are just props, old, familiar talking points dragged back onto the stage whenever real oversight threatens to break out. What Dan Goldman did in this moment was tear away the distraction and force the committee to confront a far more uncomfortable question. Who actually governs this country? Is it Congress, as the Constitution plainly says? Or is it a small circle of powerful individuals, unelected, unaccountable, and financially entangled with the very agencies they now influence? Because when an unelected billionaire with billions in federal contracts can decide which agencies live or die, when inspectors general investigating him are quietly removed, when congressionally appropriated funds can be canceled with a tweet, and when the response from lawmakers is applause or silence, that's not normal governance. That's a warning sign. Goldman wasn't exaggerating when he called this a breathtaking usurpation of power. He was describing a system where accountability has been flipped on its head, where conflicts of interest aren't disqualifying, they're tolerated, where transparency isn't demanded, it's avoided, and where the branch of government designed to check executive power is voluntarily shrinking itself out of relevance. Think about that for a moment. Congress isn't being overpowered, it's standing down. And that may be the most dangerous part of all. Because authoritarianism doesn't always arrive with tanks or sirens. Sometimes it shows up wearing a suit, smiling for the cameras, insisting everything is fine, while the people who should be asking questions decide it's safer not to, while they convince themselves that the press will handle it, while they outsource their constitutional duty to journalists and hope no one notices. But Goldman noticed, and he said it out loud. He reminded them, and all of us, that the power of the purse belongs to Congress. That oversight is not optional. that loyalty to a president or a billionaire does not override loyalty to the Constitution, and that giving away your authority today means you won't have it tomorrow, especially when you actually need it. This wasn't a partisan moment. It was an institutional one, a line in the sand between a Congress that governs and a Congress that performs, between accountability and obedience, between democracy as a living system and democracy as a talking point. And if this committee continues down this path, chasing ghosts from the past while ignoring the very real consolidation of power happening in front of them, then history won't be kind. Because future Americans won't ask whether Congress held enough hearings about Twitter. They'll ask why no one stepped in when the rules were being bent, the laws were being brushed aside, and power was quietly concentrating in fewer and fewer hands. That's what made this moment matter. Dan Goldman didn't just challenge Jim Jordan. He challenged Congress to remember what it is, and whether it still has the courage to act like it. If you want to keep seeing these moments broken down honestly, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Congress has already given away its power, or is there still time to reclaim it? Let's talk about it.